Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Well, on behalf of the Alabama A&M University, and particularly today, the College of Engineering, Technology, and Physical Sciences here on the campus, we would like to welcome all of you to our town hall meeting, which features Secretary of Education. And let's give a hand for our Dr. King is here with many guests to see what we're doing here on the campus, and they were drawn here because of the wonderful work that all of you as faculty, staff, and students collectively we pull together and do. So I think that is something that is really a testament to the culture of creativity and innovation that we've established here. My name is Chance Glenn. I'm the Dean of the College of Engineering, Technology, and Physical Sciences here at Alabama A&M.
John King, Secretary of Education.
I'm Andrew Hughini, President of Alabama Agricultural and Mechanical University.
I'm Todd May, Director of Marshall Space Flight Center.
My name is Brendalyn Harper. I'm a current graduate student here seeking my master's in computer science.
Hello everyone, my name is Xavier Brandon, a freshman mechanical engineer major.
Thank you. And we've really have the honor of having these guests here, and particularly Dr. King here. And what we're here talking about today is the significance and importance of STEM education. And there is a national need for STEM education. There's a national need for the diversity of the workforce, particularly around the STEM fields. And that's what we do here on this campus. And so we're here today to talk about that. And we're proud of the activities that we have going on, and you'll hear a little bit about that within the questions that come forward. Now, I'm going to, I have some questions that we've received prior to that I'm going to start and allow our panelists to respond to. And then, as time permits, we'll have some time for some questions from the floor. So, Dr. King, why is this topic important to you? And of all places, why did you choose to come to Alabama A&M to talk about it?
Sure. Well, STEM fields are hugely important to the future of our economy. They're hugely important to our ability as a society to grapple with the challenges we face, whether it is issues like global warming or figuring out how to meet our energy needs as a country. The President has prioritized STEM and the STEM fields and ensuring diversity in the STEM professions since he came into office. So we're very committed to that work. We know that Alabama A&M is doing strong work in the preparation of STEM candidates, has an impressive partnership with NASA around the preparation of STEM professionals. And my goal over the next few weeks as I take a tour around the country visiting higher ed institutions to try to highlight places that are being smart about how to make sure that students don't just start college, but actually finish with degrees that allow them to be competitive in the 21st century economy, and to highlight places that are contributing to the diverse STEM workforce that we need. And that's everything from the computer science engineers that we need to the physics teachers that we need, because it's not just about preparing folks for STEM jobs, it's also preparing the next generation of STEM educators that we desperately need as a country.
So what is the agency doing specifically to support this with HBCUs?
Sure. So a number of things. Certainly the federal government makes a very significant investment in HBCUs generally through formula funding because we believe in the crucial role that HBCUs play in American culture. HBCUs account for more than a quarter of all the STEM bachelor's degrees that are awarded to students of color. And so we've got to make that important investment. We also think there's an opportunity to drive innovation through research grants, and whether that's through NSF or other entities within the federal government, Department of Defense, others. So the President has prioritized investments in that research, and that often involves research investments at higher ed institutions, HBCUs in particular. The President's also made a number of proposals to try to target investments in higher education that we think will help accelerate completion. One of our challenges in the country, we have so many students who start but don't finish. America used to be first in the world in college completion. We are now 13th. And the President's goal is to get back to first in the world. So we have a First in the World grant program that's designed to build an evidence base around the kinds of supports and interventions that help students get to completion. And we have a specific initiative that's in the President's budget proposal this year for HBCUs and minority serving institutions to have an innovation fund to support innovative efforts to help students complete their degrees on time with degrees that allow them to be competitive in the current economy.
Well, one of the other reasons that that I would say that you and your team are here, you've also mentioned the research that was being carried on between Alabama A&M and NASA. We have many representatives of NASA that are here. If you would some of you are here, raise your hands, be recognized from the NASA people. We have a strong relationship that we have forged and are building upon. Here today is Mr. Todd May, who is the director of Marshall Space Flight Center of NASA. So Dr. May, please elaborate on the partnership that you have here with A&M, and why is it valuable to NASA?
Okay, thank you. First, let me say it's an honor to be here with you today. I think you see, Dr. King, from all the hands dispersed here in the audience, that we have a pretty strong community here in Huntsville. And you know, we're at NASA, our vision statement is to reach new heights and reveal the unknown so that what we do and learn can benefit all mankind. And the very nature of what we do is to push out into the outer limits beyond that which we know today. Much like education, which is an exploration of the mind, we also explore and discover, and we also have exploration of the body. And when we do that, you have to solve hard problems, and that translates to the necessity of degrees in STEM education. Science, technology, engineering, and math are all come to bear when we solve our problems. We also understand that diversity and inclusion is very important, and studies show that the more inclusive you are in solving problems, the better you are at solving them. And when you have diverse opinions and diverse backgrounds and diverse cultures, you get better solutions at the end. And so we've enjoyed decades of a relationship with Alabama A&M at the center, and our partnerships are multifaceted and multi-leveled. Just this summer in June, we hosted at the Davidson Center, I think over 50 HBCUs, and had a lot of discussions there around how to involve them and engage them and get their graduates into businesses around town. We also have a program where we have executives on loan. Our own Greg Dees from headquarters has been down here and spent time at Alabama A&M. We also have what we call a partner in technology transfer, where Andrew Schnell, for example, had an invention, a rigidized inflatable structure that he actually gave to a classroom and gave them the challenge of how can you take this and learn how to use this in commercial applications. And so experiential learning, where you get beyond the textbooks and actually give the team a problem to solve. And we go beyond that. For years, we've hosted the Rover Challenge out at the Space and Rocket Center and the Student Launch Initiative. Alabama A&M has been a part of those teams, I think, since the beginning on the Rover Challenge. And, of course, you see the rockets right out there in the hall. And, again, that experiential learning where you get out of the classroom and you get a team, and they actually have to create something, and then they have to fail, which is a big part of what we do, because you learn through failure and you get better at it. We also have internships. We had 7 A&M interns last year, and 2 what we call Pathways interns, which is leads to jobs out at the center directly. We have other interesting things. We had a group out here earlier this week, turbo pump bearing research, where we brought our experts out here in the classroom and talked about how we design bearings. Finally, our industry partners, a few of which are here today, we have what we call mentor protege. We've had Pratt & Whitney Rocketdyne, who builds the main engines on the shuttle, has a mentor protege relationship. Lockheed Martin, one of the largest defense and aerospace companies in the world. Boeing, another one of the largest aerospace companies in the world, have all had mentor protege agreements where we bring them along in various ways and create those partnerships. And then that translates into real success within the agency. Just here at Alabama A&M, your own Charlie Scales was the Associate Deputy Administrator. That's one of the top 4 jobs in the agency. Jim Jennings was the Deputy Director of Kennedy Space Center, where we launch all of our rockets. And of course, here with us today, Sheila Nash, the first physics PhD from Alabama A&M and the first in the state, is also now working in the Planetary Programs Mission Office. How many of you heard about the discovery of Pluto this year? The Pluto mission. She works in the program office that runs that program and is a graduate of Alabama A&M. And of course, it reaches out further. The African American community has a really strong presence in the agency. 14 African American astronauts have flown in space. Our own administrator, General Charlie Bolden, runs the agency today. Audrey Robinson, our chief counsel, has chemistry and law degrees from Emory University. Our head of human capital, Teresa Washington, has a degree from Alabama A&M and a jurisprudence degree from Vanderbilt University. And Lucius Hires, our Office of Diversity and Equal Opportunity, is a graduate of Georgia Military College, an Army Ranger, and worked for the Secret Service. So we enjoy this partnership, and we look forward to it continuing for many years to come.
Thank you so much. Now, without the leadership at the very top of our university, we would not be able to have the educational research and the kind of partnerships that's been established without the leadership of our president, Dr. Andrew Hugheni Jr. Dr. Hugheni, we have established a long legacy of education and STEM education and creating STEM professionals. So what would you say are the key practices that allow that to happen?
Well, thank you very much, first of all, Secretary King, for coming, and also to Mr. May and the others for being present here at Alabama A&M University while we share with the rest of the world what we really do here in making a difference in the lives of young people. And from what you have indicated, certainly very successful in the area of the STEMs. It requires a commitment on the part, and it's a partnership, a commitment with our faculty. And we have one of the most diverse faculty in the state of Alabama, a dedicated faculty that reaches out and works with our young people, faculty that when they write grants will include opportunities for our students so they get firsthand experience in research. And so we have a faculty that goes above and beyond the call of duty to be sure that our students are going to be successful. We also have in place mechanisms such as the centers that we have in our different units, and you have a very successful center here in the College of Engineering Technology. We are expanding to the rest. It's a way that we try to bring the resources that are necessary to the students so they won't have to necessarily go to a central location, but they do it right in their home being their particular college. There are many resources available, but in order for those resources to be meaningful, obviously students have to access them. And so the center here has been very, very successful in that regard. So that's one of the other things that we do. Early alert, to realize when students are having difficulties and to be able to get with them and provide them the assistance that they need before they get too far down the road. Providing opportunities external to the university, as you mentioned, many of the opportunities with NASA, with other companies, experiential learning, extremely important, so that they have an opportunity to see and to model and to interact with the professionals in the field. All those are tidbits of what we do, and because of that, we are very proud of the fact that we are one of the highest producers of STEM disciplines in this nation. Over the last 4 years, Alabama A&M University has graduated over 900 individuals in the STEM disciplines. The leading area was biology, followed by electrical engineering, followed by computer science. And again, it takes the combined effort and partnership of our institutions, and we do have representatives here from some of our partner schools. Our school district is here, our Drake is here. It requires all of us working together collectively in order to fulfill the needs of the student. The university's marketing slogan, I think, says it all, that with a degree from Alabama A&M University, you can start here and you can go anywhere. That begins with the belief that you can do. If you think that you can do it, it begins with that, and then it is reinforced as we go and providing the partnership. So we thank each of you for being here. Thank you, Mayor Trulock, for being here. I think we have a representative from the city of Huntsville that's present as well. And again, these are partners that work to ensure the success of Alabama A&M University, in particular the success of the STEM disciplines.
As you said, Dr. Guinea, the students are the central focus of what we do. And here on the panel, we have just two who are representatives of some of the great work that we do and the great representation of our student body. And one is a undergraduate, the other is a graduate student. So what we're going to do, I would like for our students to first share their major, and then who you are and your major, and then just talk about specific things, specific practices here on campus that has allowed you to be successful thus far. So ladies first, I think.
Thank you, Dr. Glenn, and thank you, Secretary King, for being here, and thank you for letting me be on this panel. I chose computer science because coming out of high school, I saw the future, and all it said was technology, STEM. You should do this, you should be in this. And as a young kid, I'm already on the computer, playing on the internet, so I'm like, well, why not get into a field where I could build my own computer, or build really intelligent systems that can help out with the world problems today. And so that will really help me decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Alabama A&M University, I'm going to major in computer science, and I'm going to receive a master's here as well. So that's why I came here.
Fantastic. I chose mechanical engineering because of course, the academic side of my performance in mathematics and physics, but also because when I looked at the major and how versatile that it can be of being an engineer, the innovation and the collaboration matches my style of my personality and who I am. And actually attending Alabama A&M University is definitely an honor, so thank you guys for letting me be here today. But being here, it has been able to give me the opportunity to pursue my undergraduate experience at one of the top universities that I personally consider in the nation. And Alabama A&M is a fantastic area for me to facilitate my education in an environment that is definitely beneficial to myself, to communicate with others, to receive the nurturing treatment by my professors and administrators here on campus, but at the same time, I am definitely challenged and I am pushed to grow myself. So definitely with that, I say that.
Now, I need to ask both of you this question. Now, if you were king or queen for a day, what would you change or fix to better support your effort to become a STEM graduate? What would you change?
I would change the curriculum just a bit to include more job shadowing opportunities for students who are not secure in their major, because there are a lot of kids that they'll get all the way to the end and be like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I don't think I can enter into the job world with this major. I don't think I'm strong enough. So we implement job shadowing opportunities like early on, like the sophomore years on up to the senior and graduate courses. I feel like we can better vet these individuals. Like, okay, what do you like? What are your interests? Is this what you want to do? Do you like this? Okay, well, if not, you could go ahead and change it before it becomes too late. Because once you get to that senior year, changing your major, you really don't want to do that.
Okay.
That's a lot of work. You already worked that hard to get to where you are now. And to go back and try to redo something, that's tough.
Xavier?
Well, to answer such a tough question, with my time here so far, I've honestly seen little flaw in or areas of self-improvement. But what I would take from Alabama A&M University and what I would implement in other areas is the professional attributes that's cultivated here with our students. Here, not only are we focused on the academic excellence, and we already have a rigorous curriculum as it is now. However, learning to articulate and developing great oratorical skills and learning how to act in a professional environment is something that our school is doing very well, particularly the College of Engineering, partnering with the Career Development Service and with our professors, who also give us an in-depth experience of what it's going to be like after graduation. So they also focus on afterlife and things that are very important.
Okay. Dr. King, I want to give you an opportunity to reflect on anything you've heard thus far before we have a special presentation by the president, and then we'll open up the floor for some questions.
Sure, just share two thoughts. One related to Brendalin's point about computer science. The President feels so strongly about the role of computer science in our future. The President proposed in his State of the Union address that we would invest $4 billion over the next 3 years as a country in expanding access to computer science education. The President feels very strongly that computer science is becoming an essential skill and should be an essential part of our K-12 system. One of our biggest challenges in implementing this vision will be ensuring that we have the supply of computer science teachers that we need. So we need lots of computer science professionals for sure, and we also need some of those folks to maybe split their time with teaching, just as many of the faculty here have experience in the professional world and on faculty. So I wanted to emphasize that point on computer science, and then more broadly to suggest, there's a lot of concern in many of the STEM industries about issues of diversity. Everyone in this room has probably read about some of the Silicon Valley companies lamenting the challenges around diversity. That is a recruitment problem, it is a retention problem, and it is a pipeline problem. And Alabama A&M can be a part of the solution to the pipeline problem. Already is producing a significant number of STEM graduates of color, and we look forward to Alabama A&M continuing to be a part of that solution. So very much appreciate that.
Okay, thank you. Dr. King.
Yes.
Okay.
Earlier today, Dr. Cynthia Cole met with our Dean of Education, Humanities, and Behavioral Sciences to have a discussion about our teacher ed program. Teacher ed also fits into the STEM disciplines because we need, of course, to produce teachers so that the pipeline can be extended. And so we thank you, Dr. Cole, for coming and meeting with Dean Curtis Martin, and we have for you the Presidential Medallion I'd like to present to you. Please, ma'am, if you come forward. Secretary King, we cannot thank you enough for making Alabama A&M University a part of your visits as you go throughout this nation, and we are so proud of what we do here, and we thank you for providing a platform that we can share that with the rest of the world. Because of that, sir, we'd like to also present you with a Presidential Medallion in appreciation for your work as Secretary of Education and in recognition of your commitment to American higher education, science, technology, and engineering, serving the capacity of course, Secretary of Education of our great nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The microphone. It's one of our illustrious STEM star scholars. Raise your hand back there. All right. The students you see in these wonderful, beautiful coats, those are some of our STEM star scholars. They are some of our leaders here on this campus, and so they will be going around. So if you have a question that you'd like to ask, you raise your hand, they'll come to you. Have one up here in the front. If you wouldn't mind stating your name, who you're with, and who you'd like to address the question towards.
Well, my name is Joseph Lee, and I am a retired professor here at the university.
And I want to, first of all, congratulate you on your appointment to be the secretary. I'm here to not only meet you, but have an opportunity to hear what you said today. And I've heard many people indicate that there's been some very lively discussion about STEM and A&M, et cetera. As Secretary of Education, you cover both higher education and all other aspects of education. I've worked with a program that A&M is affiliated with called the AAMU Community Development Corporation. And we're working with Title I schools. And you talked about a pipeline. And I believe the pipeline starts at that level. And if we can help those students at that level to understand STEM, I think it'll be very, very successful. My question to you is this right here. How do you see the university, and we do have an outreach program, we are a part of the outreach program, how do you see that the money that you mentioned is coming down, that the university can use those funds to reach out to the Title I schools and others? Thank you very much.
Thanks. I appreciate the question. It begins really with early learning. President's proposed moving towards universal access to high-quality preschool. We know that the STEM gap begins often in preschool, that some students are getting opportunities to think about shapes and colors and starting to have those sort of early math experiences. Some students are playing on a water table and reading and being read to about the environment and about rocket ships, right? And those students have a certain understanding of science and math coming into kindergarten that their peers who don't have those high-quality preschool experiences don't have. So preparing early childhood educators who understand how to do developmentally appropriate play-based learning in math and science, critical. Once students are in the K-12 system, professional development for our educators is a huge gap, and we see this particularly in our high-needs schools. Many elementary school teachers would benefit from additional professional development around math and science that could be provided through university partnership, and having pre-service teachers have those opportunities to work with math and science content faculty. So they have entered the profession with strong math and science skills, critical. We also see at high school, many of our highest need students in high school don't have access to the advanced courses that they should. We have a significant number of students of color, low-income students across this country who attend high schools where you cannot take chemistry or algebra 2. Right? So if you can't even take the course, how can we then expect you to come into college prepared to succeed in the STEM fields? So that professional development and preparation of the teacher workforce is key. There are also opportunities for universities to partner with high schools to offer college courses to high school students, which can be very powerful. And we know there's very strong research evidence that students who take college courses while in high school, not only do they benefit from the academic rigor, but they also benefit from that experience that says, I can do this. I can be successful in a college class. I can do this level of work. And so I think there's a tremendous opportunity for partnerships during the school year. There's also a tremendous opportunity for summer partnerships. Getting high school students onto college campuses in the summer, getting college students to work with young people during the summer to create rich STEM-based learning experiences that will give them a sense of STEM as a possible future. So lots of opportunities, and this, as I say, is a huge priority for the president, for our administration. Thanks.
My name is Patricia Lane Bullard. I'm a retiree of Alabama A&M University. Secretary King, I would like to also congratulate you on your confirmation. And welcome to the Hill, Alabama A&M University. From your personal life, it is known that you had teachers and mentors who help you to influence your lifestyle and your life goals. So did I. My question is, what would your recommendation or recommendations be to local school board officials and or other school administrators to assure that mentors and our teachers, in addition to the counseling staffs, can help or will help to mentor all youth and impart life skills and goal-setting opportunities like what you and I received?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. I appreciate the question. You know, I grew up in New York City, grew up in Brooklyn, a little bit different environment maybe from here, but just slightly. But my mom passed away when I was 8, in October of my 4th grade year. My dad when I was 12. He was quite sick during the period in between, and home was, as it is for many students that everyone in this room knows, home was this place that was unpredictable, that was often not safe, and confusing as a kid. And I didn't know what my dad was going to be like one night to the next, and I didn't know why, because he had undiagnosed Alzheimer's. And so home was this very unpredictable place, but school was amazing. School was this place where I went, and folks were creating activities that were interesting and compelling and engaging, and school saved my life. School's the reason I became a teacher, a principal, the reason I'm doing this work, but school saved my life. And so I have a tremendous sense of the difference that teachers make in young people's lives, and I think we've got to do a better job as a country supporting teachers and lifting up the teaching profession. You know, when you think about our international competitors, they value teaching. They, in many cases, pay teachers significantly better than we do in the United States. They ensure that teachers have time for collaboration and professional development. You know, if you want teachers to be able to create those kinds of experiential learning experiences that we've talked about on this panel, that takes time, and that takes planning time. And you want teachers to be able to collaborate and to plan lessons together, to be able to look at student work together, to be able to continually hone their skills. And in many of our schools, we don't provide that investment in time and professional development for teachers. And we've got to make sure that all of our teachers are prepared for our diverse classroom populations. And we got to support folks around that. You know, I'm sure it's true in Alabama, certainly true in New York. We have many schools that are seeing an influx of English language learners, and yet we aren't necessarily in our school districts providing good professional development and support on how to work successfully with English language learners. We see, unfortunately, when the research evidence is clear, that sometimes the same behavior from an African American boy is viewed differently from a white male student. That's a problem, and we've got to look at that, and we've got to make sure that teachers have training on implicit bias and culturally responsive instruction and are prepared to work with a diverse student workforce. So I believe if we invest in our teachers, the folks who choose teaching as a profession choose it because they want to make a difference in kids' lives. And I think we've got to, as a society, invest in teaching because our future, not only of our economy, but of our democracy, and that is as clear as could be at this moment. The future of our democracy is dependent on our teachers and what happens in our classrooms. So I very much appreciate the question, and just, you know, I feel blessed to have the opportunity to try to give back to the education profession that saved my life.
We have one there.
Hi, my question is for Dr. King. My name is Ryan Kate Gibson, and I'm a PhD student here in the Reading and Literacy program.
Great.
Thank you for all the honored panel members that are here. The question I have is regarding gender equity with STEM students, especially in middle grades. The statistics show there's a huge drop-off in female participation after about 8th grade. Prior to that, there's equity. So my question is, are there any initiatives that you can inform us about that are going to be implemented in the near future?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're very concerned about this issue. I mean, you see clearly that women are underrepresented in the STEM fields. Part of it is about students not seeing images of what's possible for them. And so if you don't see folks who look like you in those professions, you are less likely to believe that's possible for you. President's proposed funding for a Teacher and Principal Pathways Innovation Initiative that we hope would help us prepare a next generation of STEM teachers that would be racially diverse and gender diverse so that students can see teachers in chemistry and computer science that look like them. That I think is important. President has also proposed investments in early childhood that would allow us to focus on that early STEM experience, right? Because one of the things, and I worry about this as a father of 2 girls, girls get messages about science and math from very early ages. That science and math maybe isn't for them. And so those investments in early childhood, getting folks off on the right start is critical. And then this work that we're doing through First in the World that I mentioned earlier around college completion is also about making sure that the students who start in programs finish, right? Because we see on many campuses the gender distribution changes from who enrolls as a freshman to who finishes at the end. And we see that in graduate programs as well. One of the things I was impressed by at A&M that I heard is that the students who are starting the graduate programs finish. That's critical. That mindset that you're here because we want you to complete, I think is a powerful lever. But let me ask Dr. Nash if I could, because you're an example of what we're trying to achieve as a country. I actually want to make sure we take a picture so I can put it on Twitter because I want people to see. But I think it's important, there was this campaign earlier this year, Look Like an Engineer, just to make sure that young people understand that there are engineers that look like them. So I'd love for you to maybe say a few words about your experience and what you think we should be doing better as a country to ensure that we have a diverse STEM pipeline.
And I guess you can hear me. A&M did a lot for me. I was a 16-year-old backwoods country girl when I came with you. And now I have been encouraged by the instructors, by my professors, my mentor. He encouraged me to come back to get that degree in physics, which I thought he was crazy at first, but then I thought about it and I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this. So I came back both times when he started the master's program and when he started the PhD program. So having those mentors, those instructors that are interested in the students, that bring those students along and encourage them, to give them the confidence that they can make it. And having more folk like that. And then once we get out and into the business world, we have to go back. We have to go back to the students. We have to go back to the schools to visit, to show them. Although when I go to the elementary schools, they think I'm an astronaut, and I keep telling them, no, I'm not an astronaut. But I do work for NASA. I am in a STEM program, and you can also do that. So I normally go out, I come here. We have Youth Motivation Task Force on campus. I come back and I talk to students then. And then we go to the classrooms in schools and different places to encourage them to just get, be more active. So I guess if you all could provide programs where we can get released maybe to go travel around a road show and let them see.
We would like that. Yes.
We're just like you. And if this backwoods country girl can do it, so can you.
Yes. Well, thank you. As we wrap up, what I'd like to is if you would, Dr. Guinea, if you had any brief closing remark, and also how the relationship between Alabama A&M and the Department of Education, how would you like to see that evolve and become?
Well, again, let me thank you, Secretary King, for coming and being here at Alabama A&M University, and thank all of you for coming out this evening, this afternoon, for what I know has been a very informative discussion as we talked about the STEM disciplines here at Alabama A&M University. When we look at the partnership between the Department of Education and Alabama A&M University, there, as I indicated earlier, we're doing some things here right. There are programs that work at Alabama A&M University. We know that President Obama is always interested in identifying programs that are successful and scaling those programs up. And we certainly would like to partner with the Department of Education to develop some of these models so that they can go nationally. Obviously, that takes resources, and so one of the things that we would be looking for are additional resources so that we can develop the strategies and advance even further what we've done. With the resources that we have, as I indicated earlier, we've produced over 900 STEM majors in the last 4 years. Imagine what we could do with more resources. And so we'd like to partner as you look at those opportunities that you can fund, to think about Alabama A&M University. And our faculty, I can tell you, they're always excited and ready to submit white papers with great ideas of projects that we can implement. And so that's how we would like to continue this effort going forward with the Department of Education. I would be remiss if I did not mention again that there are a number of individuals here from different institutions that are present, because again, this is an institution and a community where we work together. And I want to thank each of you for coming and being a part of this. We have our chamber, we have our mayor, we have representatives again from our individual schools. We have all our deans are here from the other areas. So for each of you, thanks for coming. And of course, my boss is here, and it's always good that she has taken time to come and to visit as well. So we appreciate the partnership, and we look forward to more opportunities, and we will come and visit with you and continue this dialogue even more as we go forward with the Department of Education. So again, thank you so very much, Secretary King. You know, there are over 3,000 universities in this nation. There are over 3,000 universities and endless numbers of schools, but you've chosen Alabama A&M University to be one of your stops. And I want you to know we don't take that lightly, and we certainly do appreciate it.
So with that, I would like to also personally thank you for being here, as we all do. I want to thank all those who did come. We cannot go through and name and recognize every person. We would be here the rest of the evening. But I want to thank you for your presence here. This shows a community that we have, and a community is focused on educating our young people for tomorrow. So with that, there is a room for some press and media event downstairs, I believe. But I want to thank you, and with that, we are done. So if you would allow the panelists to exit before we all head for the doors. Thank you. Let's give a big bulldog welcome.